folks, I'm going to tell you 5 quick facts about black bull markets. Now, did you know, number 1, they're New Zealand FMA regulated? Number 2, did you know they have a copy trading service where you can either be a signal provider or copy signals? And number 3, did you know they've got over 26,000 tradable assets, including Forex, crypto, stocks, indices, and even more? And number 4, did you know they offer 500 to 1 leverage? And number 5, if you open up an account today and trade 1 lot a month, they're going to give you TradingView Pro for free. Check them out, Black Bull Markets.
Hello, everyone. What's happening to my mic here? Welcome back to the stream. My name is Gentsla. It's great to have everyone in here again. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. Hello. Okay, let's just pop on some music. Let's get right into it. Share the screen. Let's plug this in. What's going on? Okay, let's get into it. So where are we with DXY? Right here. 745, 604, 745. Yep. Closing and opening. It's actually quite tight today. Let's pull that on the other charts. See what happens. $604. Oh, that's the 5 minutes. There we go. Super tight. Nice. That's there. Beautiful. Let's look at our 259. Closing candle. So we have sell side. Not much space here. It's 1 minute. $259. Level, put that in, drop it in. Let's go buy side. Okay, so let's look at the overnight action and what happened. While this is all in the charts, let me just open my broker quick. Okay, stunning. So what we had was yesterday, the high time frame. That there was your daily, your daily FEG that I pointed out. yesterday's stream. And as soon as we reached that, which was a massive thing, came up there beautifully. Okay, we have our Hong Kong gaps and stuff at that level, and it came straight back down into our Hong Kong gap and our daily open, where it consolidated for a little bit to continue. Let's go to GBP. Let's see to do the same thing. So this, what it shows me is that there was a previous Hong Kong gap on the leg going up. That one was seen to, just the height of it perfectly, and then dropped from there. They still left this unfilled though. So now we're starting to leave. So we have 1, 2 Hong Kong gaps on the buy side that have been unfilled. After big news yesterday, I think that this morning is going to be more of a consolidation session. I don't think that there'll be any trades to be had, but I guess we'll see. Same thing here. So we went to yesterday's Hong Kong gap was formed and went up 10 o'clock, midnight, around 3-ish, came up to this Hong Kong gap right on the side, and then came down through it. And where we within our next one, which was the unfilled on the sell side. Let's pull that up. See this one over here? That was unfilled. So it pulled up back into that range right there, and then came down. It is still unfilled in here at the buy side as well. That's for a later move. But yeah, as I was saying yesterday, my whole expectation was that dollar should be a buy. And somehow it wasn't. It was kind of weird. There's a gap in price here as well between 28 and 29 on DXY. So closing, opening, closing over here. This for me is a draw. Equal highs up here, euro. Obviously, if dollar's buying, euro's catching the sell. Same thing with GU. That's too perfect. Way too perfect. Maybe I should put this, make it the perfect void. Just here. Okay. There we go. Ooh. So dollar came in to fill this opening gap, as we said, on the buy side. Right there. That little fair value gap in price that we put out yesterday as well. Right, from here to here. That came in almost to perfection. Maybe we should just label that. And it's left it. Yeah, I'm not expecting much. It's the session after a big session. Well, technically not. It's the second session after the big session. I consider morning and afternoon sessions to be separate for each. So, like for the London time, you have the London morning and the London afternoon. They're two separate sessions. Then you have New York, same thing. Asia, same thing. Just looking down here, past that. 707, 1709. Move 7 to 9. 802. What of this down here? All of this is like a resistance in a way. We came directly into that weekly opening gap that was set on 1 hour. That was set this week. Literally, this week has been a wild ride. No, it wasn't this week. It was last week. So they went all the way up and came right back down to that weekly. Nice. There's a whole bunch of sell stops resting over here, but the buy stops are resting is above here and right there. Oh, what happened, Tony? I thought it was 105.26 cents or something. Yeah, that void, that draw, everything, like I said, selling. What we have here now, as well, is let me just remove that line. The reason why the stops are there is because we have our 630. That's the highest point. And we have the lowest point over here, 730. Funny enough, that lines up here perfectly if you see the lows of this. Yes, Tony. I actually felt the same thing. Made a few mistakes yesterday. Feeling pretty sour about it. But it is life. It is life. Sometimes things like that happen. Yeah, let's look at the US 500 as well. For 5 minutes. Tuesday void was filled. Then we had coming up here. What time was that? 9:50, 10:10. 9:50, 10:10. You clearly see directions going one way, especially after taking highs. Within that range, as it comes down, down, up, down, up, down, up, we had a fair value gap price right there. Fair value gap. Yeah, not fair value gap, but that's a VI, it's a void. Going down, 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 down. There's a tiny one here. Wasn't seen to. The tiny one underneath there as well. Just seen to. We then have this one there with a void as well in price. That one was seen to later on. And then prices continued. That was the lunch trade. So again, let's do lunch hour. We have 12, which is down here. And then we have 1. The highs over here. 1. Price comes up. Has the big sell side. It's a little chop and continues going downwards. And did we get a 3 o'clock to end the day? No, they carry on pushing off at 3:45. Oof. That would have, if I was trading the final hour, that would have actually got me. I would have seen this at 3 o'clock and been like, okay, there's a fair value gap here. Price is definitely going to go back into the range for the day. That would have stopped me out. But they pumped it a little bit further. Because that is quite a displacement as well, with a multiple break of multiple structures. Nice one, Danny. Good to see that. Good to see that. Oh no, Jason. That's terrible, man. I'm sorry. So we got to have our stops in place. Always, always, always having our stops in place. So currently, I'm looking at the 219 being filled. Tom, hope you enjoyed your yoga session. If you caught a lot of breaths. But we have right now between the two, we have nothing. So we're sitting in the middle of this range. DXY is on top here, but liquidity has not been taken on the sell side or the buy side yet. So it's just it's in this range. Obviously, within this, if you're a maniac and you're a scalping person, you would be like, okay, well, there's been a break over here, and there's a fair value gap right here, and then price comes into that. You can take a trade, and then you get out. Same thing on the other side. Comes up, it breaks. You can take fair value gaps in price, and then goes up, and you can just read the whole way down. Thank you, Miles. With a big range like today, like yesterday, okay. What tends to happen is that because the day is still going in a sense. Okay, let's just pull this down. Let's go quiet for a second. And then there's a fair value gap. So let me just remove this arrow. Okay, right now, from where the highs are to here, there is a huge amount of unfilled liquidity. Okay. And then we're still working towards the sell side that I mentioned. So you see, I pointed out to this buy side and this sell side over here. And it came in, snaked a little bit of the buy side over there to offer fair value. Again, if you have the leg, the high to the low, 50%. Just make sure that's perfect. 50%, it was just hit. So it offered fair value at a discount for the sellers and then sold. Right now, what we have on the other side is 50% has been seen to. And so we're looking at anything underneath as big value points, which fortunately is that. It's the Hong Kong gap. There's a couple of them down here as well that haven't been filled. It's the same. If you look on the daily, we have this fair value gap in price that has been targeted yesterday, and they ripped it down. Within the leg itself, that leg, this leg filled here. It first needs to go down to this point. There's a whole bunch of them on the way up. If you look at the inefficiencies in price, filled, it's good. Yeah, it needs to continue. So again, just like I've been saying in the past week, 2 weeks, my macro is sells. As in my macro outlook for the larger time frames. XYs come in. Oh, what will we see? Yesterday was here, which was not offered during London. This Hong Kong gap here is now, I would consider it an important Hong Kong gap for later on. Where is it? There it is. We're going to GBP. Sell side's been taken. Actually has been a shift. It needs to go higher. How's everything else correlating? Sell side's been taken. Give it 1 minute. And euro is just still in this range. This would be a buy up to these highs. But because the price down here, there's equal lows down here. I'm giving myself out. Mm. Cool. Anyways, how was everyone's day? Oh, let's get into the questions. Is there such a thing as fair value in trading? I mean, I assume so. But again, it just depends on your analysis and how fair value is offered. To me personally, there's fair value in every leg. Every leg needs to be offered fair value. Like every single move needs to have fair value. These legs down here on the sell side here have not had fair value. The void here as well in price, right? Right. That's nice. Okay. Put that on the chart. So depending on what happens after this high, with DXY going up, which means everything else is selling, then we're going to have buys on the rest. We set up liquidity over there. We have, yeah, there's a lot of liquidity here, often fair value. Yeah, man, it was quite wild yesterday. I got in a few trades where I was actually stopped out by like a couple of pips, and it was just like really frustrating because it just carried on coming. It just carried on coming, you know. And my strategy doesn't work on training days. I broke my rules, and it's just no. So I'm gonna stick to my rules. Now I'm gonna really make sure that I'm sticking to my rules because I'm done with breaking my rules. Just because I've been feeling a lot of pressure actually with streaming, in that I like have to find a trade, and I feel like I have to perform, you know, and it's kind of hard psychologically in a way. Whether you're winning or losing, it's kind of like it's the same thing. It's still that pressure to perform, in the sense that I feel like it's like I'm out here with you guys and we're doing our thing. And it's what's difficult about it is that I might feel like a day like today, for example, I probably wouldn't even look for a trade in Asia just because of the moves that happened yesterday. I'd look for more of a move in London, because Asia will build the liquidity and then present the opportunity. Yesterday, again, is another day that I probably wouldn't have traded, but I did, just because the how do I say it? Because of the euro and the news. So I have a rule about the session before big news. I don't like trading, and yesterday Asia session was before London session, and yeah, it's not nice. But I feel like being out here in front of you guys is a little bit tough, in the sense of this is really just really stuck in this range. Because what I'm doing is I'm taking my times. Like if for example, a trade doesn't present within my time frame, I wouldn't carry on trading. I would just like cut it, walk away from my screens, and leave it. Yeah, Shan. It's like all the positive gains and stuff that we make emotionally. It's kind of difficult as well to deal with. I'm in it with you. We're all in it together. You'll see the video that I posted with Cam with TRADINGNUT. Tomorrow's Saturday. There's no ways. I'll be trading tomorrow. Weekend is for family. But have a lovely day. Enjoy. Have a run. We'll see you next time. See that liquidity? It's target. Target. Takes what I'm doing. Hit that void that has created very nice, perfect equal highs over here. All right, man. Get some rest. Get some rest. London's gonna be. It might actually be a nice trade today. Nice. That's cool. Well done. Nice book called Best Loser Wins. It's kind of true. One that you can take your losses, survive in the market. Over time, you learn. You'll be alright. For 4 minutes, you're just sitting doing nothing. What is your trade? Did you take this one over here? Like from here to here? Tactical? To be quite honest, I've never read one book on trading in my life. or psychology or anything like that. I've just kind of gone through the process personally and had to like deal with it. I'm sure it would have helped in the beginning. It would have helped a lot. I'm just watching the three. Let me pull it to the side while we leave the XY on. He's gonna all come down now. The sell side. If you're on 8 cap, 09715, let's just check. 097 like 20, I would say 10, until there's a whole bunch of there's missing price action. There's a whole bunch of price action down here that was created. What time was that? So it went up, 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 created squareness, and came down here, right here. There's mysterious gaps in price around this area. That is from 9708 until 9722. 9708 to 22. There's a mysterious gaps in price down here where TradingView doesn't show it, but it came up, and down here it actually made lower lows and then created squareness and then went up through here and did this and went up. Mysterious gaps. Nice, John. Well done. What strategy do you use? I'm actually very curious because the strategy that I have, I kind of came up with on my own. But I'm curious as to how other people would integrate the Hong Kong gap into their strategies and what kind of things that they would be using. Cheers, John. Thank you. I did tell everyone that sell side was a big draw earlier on this week, and where have we gone? And last week, actually. And AUD best sell right now. With my strategy and how I utilize it. 630 to 730. Yeah. Lows over here. So I actually would be looking, especially after this low has been taken, I would be looking for buys because this has been sold off, as in they've come to claim this liquidity, and then technically it should go up. Again, doing this stuff in Asia, I'm almost disregarding all the other price that's in the chart. We have sniped up the local high over here, But what we have now in price, there's this fair value gap and it came higher, and then this has been seen to, but I do still think that there's more sell side. That's why I look for nice, John. Nice. So you wait. What you're doing is you're not hitting it as soon as the session starts. You're waiting until it is a large enough range. So for instance, like let's take this for example, it breaks away from here, and then sometime in this time zone, you'll probably like hit a sell, put it up here, and target, right? Because I've tried to design concepts like that as well, with using like different things. So when I see like a big break of structure or whatever, and I have something like a fair value gap here, I was thinking about just like putting this in, and then putting a target to the Hong Kong gap, and then using like a 1 to 2. So a 1 to 2 would be here. So then it gives you like range. It gives you range to be wrong, and then it also gives you a 2R. Same thing on the if I look at um, the sell side and stuff like that. So if I'm here and you have your thing over there, look for a big gap away, and whenever price does whatever it wants to do, funny enough, this was during Asia, it comes back to that previous Hong Kong gap, and it does so beautifully. But then just being like, okay, cool, it breaks here, and then I have my like confirmation in a way. And then I was thinking, again, we have whatever lows there is, you could enter here, wherever the Hong Kong gap is, and you just do it and stop at 2R. Like that's like I've contemplated doing that, but then it's like holding trades and stuff over a long period of time. And it's it's hard for me mentally and emotionally to do that. All right, Vitalis, you have a great night, man. Take care. Enjoy your sleep. Larger targets, mostly because my broker spreads are worse. But looking for price to be far from the gaps and then come back. Yeah. Okay, so we've just filled in this void now. Again, I'm not pushing anything because I'm outside of my time, and nothing happened during my time. Actually, it just took the sell side now. Yeah. And it's 15, so that means that it's the Hong Kong gap. So check. Yeah, 15. That Hong Kong gap there. So the Hong Kong gap would need to be filled. And I actually would be looking underneath here. Because of these equal lows down here. That price, weekly gap, come down to come up. So that's what I'd be expecting now, looking at how price is reacting. But it depends. Like I said, after a big day yesterday, it tends to be a lot of maneuvering around in the market. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to be in a trade. This might happen. Is there news today? Let's check. So settlement is on the sell side. Whereas up here, it's that very high probability and likelihood that we're going to have price come down through our settlement and then start rebalancing down to the rest of this Hong Kong gap down here. Depending on how far price wants to go. I don't know if it wants to go to all of this liquidity here. You see that liquidity that I was referring to has been set previously with Hong Kong. They're all Hong Kong gaps on the previous days. So we have those legs over there. There's a whole bunch over here. Whenever I see it's really tight like this, and there's a lot of them together, what you have is you have like a resistance zone in a way. I was so wrong here yesterday. Left that. No, that wasn't yesterday. Previous. But they came in and filled it over time. Set the low here. Left Hong Kong gaps open. And they've gone up, come back down. Fair value on the daily going higher. What's today? Yesterday. Today. Yeah, there is news. There's news at my time 11:30, so there's news at 9:30 today. Again, this is all medium impact news as well. So we'll be looking at your next time zone, which would be 250. 950 until 1010. That would be the next indication for me. So after news hits at 9:30, price is going to go lower, and then what you're going to have is you're going to have a shift over here. It's going to come down, fill this gap probably, and then it'll go higher. To again balance out the Hong Kong gap from yesterday that was not given fair value, was not seen to in the New York session. So where we're heading to, that mysterious gap. It might be interesting. That might stop there and turn on its head. Let me see. So yeah, there's Australian PPI year on year, retail sales, and then also quarter on quarter. So they say it's not actually quite big, but to be honest, it is actually quite big news for Australia because it's both a year on year and a quarter on quarter at the same time. So yeah, this whole leg over here, we go into the 1 minute. That whole leg, there's no fair value whatsoever. The fair value of this leg, if we put it up to the highest, like the whole leg itself, would be over here, which is actually quite funny because that is close to the Wednesday MMG. So it could possibly come down to the same here. Let me just remove these arrows. No way. You want full margin, full margin. When I feel like 100% confident, I'll full margin. But right now, we're outside of my time zone, and we'll have to hit the next time zone. Ugh. So we can see Hong Kong gap was kind of filled-ish. Now it's probably what's happening. It's going to mean threshold. So the difference between mean threshold and consequent encroachment is consequent encroachment is the 50% of any gap. So wicks are gaps and gaps are gaps. Then we have mean threshold, which is 50% of a body of a candle. Vincent, you man, yo, that's full margin, bro. We're within the gap right now. Again, my strategy requires that we be outside of the gap. What news is coming in? Core PCE in America as well tonight. That's not. This is how this whole week is just. You know what? I would actually just think of just not trading. Come back next week. I like these tight ones. They're nice. Yeah, you're taking sell side. Outside of my time, can take it. Any idea why yesterday was bigger than FOMC? Because what's happening is the other countries are saying that, oh well, it's rates, we're going to kind of ease up on rates, you know, and not increase them whatsoever. And America is just increased their rates when everyone expected them not to. So what happens is that people are out of position, and especially with the news being that rates are increasing for America, there's a discrepancy between the rates. So that's why I was like, I wanted to be full sell yesterday. Exactly, Kalashnikov. So I'm still looking at news. I'm still looking at interest rates. I'm still looking at all these things because the interest rates determine where the currency is. On like a macro level. So I was expecting massive sells yesterday, and the day before, just because interest rates have gone up in America, which means that all the other currencies, like I said, are out of position at the moment. So they're politicians, because everyone tries to copy the Fed. Yeah, that exactly, Kalashnikov. The consolidate, like I said, it's going to be like a more of a consolidation session. And consolidation sessions like are not even worth trading. Sells are taken, buy side. What's DXY doing? It's coming back down. Let's look at this actually from a different perspective. Let's put a trend line up. Yeah. Lows going up. We have this one. This is coming down. We have this one. There's also interesting. What? There's the news. There you go. See. Hopefully, no one was taking any trades at that time. See what everything else is doing. Yeah, he's just tanking like a rock. Because they're like, oh no, we're not going to increase our interest rates. That's what the news has been saying. He's like, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to keep it the same. And so they will have a random spike hike later on to shock everyone. That's Ah, normally, with news candles, what I like doing is I like looking at the lows and I like looking at the highs of those news candles. What you'll find is that liquidity on both sides likes to get taken. And how did the news pan out? Let's have a look. PPI has decreased, and it's a con. Retail sales has decreased, which is a con. PPI has decreased. So what that means is that the Australian economy right now is not actually doing the best. Actually, yeah, let's have a look at gold. Gold's going up. These highs over here, there are a lot of stops up here. A lot. All right. So people are still trying to push this price down. It's come down. This is inputs and funded engineer. What are you looking for with them? Derek? What kind of questions do you have to ask? So there's quite a few. There's Blue Guardian, obviously, which is the one I'm doing here, which is nice. That it on an 8 cap the spread is like nothing. You look at the euro, like euro on 8 cap, literally ranges between 0.0 and 0.2 at max. On the other prop firms, something like FTMO, their spread is like 0.3 pipettes or 0.03 pips. And then on, and then the cost of each one is also different depending on what you're looking for. There's MFF, which is my forex funds, which a lot of people use as well. There's the funded trader, which a lot of people also use, but I haven't personally had any experience with funded trader. The funded engineer is interesting because their spread ranges, it changes depending on what time of the day it is, which can either be a good thing or not a good thing, depends. And then you also have funded next. There's quite a few out there. If you're looking for something to teach you consistency, it's actually something that I recommended to someone yesterday. It's really cheap. It's called Fivers, or not Fivers, but the 5%ers. And it's literally, if you type it in the chat, it's 5 and then the symbol percent and then ERS. And what they have is they have something called a boot camp program, where it's a really low cost, something like $100, and you get access where you have to pass 3 challenges. The first one starts at 25. You're going to count to 25. The second one is a count to 50, and the third one is the count of 75,000. And you have to make 6%, and you have a max drawdown of 5%. It's also lower leverage. That's taken, made a shift. Sales incoming. Yeah. You're going to have to go higher. Yeah, and then what's interesting about them is that 6% that you make, it's actually it's harder than the other prop firm challenges and stuff, but it's cheaper. As soon as you make the one, the 6%, you get 50% of the payout, as in from the first challenge. So you get something like, I think it's the 6% of 25,000 is 1,250 or something. And then after that, you get basically half of that, 50%, on the first challenge. So the first phase of your challenge. The second phase, you get a 75% payout if you make the 6% again, but you have a higher count this time. So you have 50K. Then in the third phase is 75K, and you make 6% again. And so you split that in half, and you basically make a couple of $1,000 of paying $1,000. I'm sorry, 1,100. It's a really good place to start because it's a lot cheaper, and you have to use less risk because you have less leverage, and so you don't take YOLO. I'm just going to go risk 2-3% of my account and blow it. Shan, no, I'm not. But I'm actually considering doing it. It obviously means that you're going to have to de-risk the amount that you trade. So it's literally taking like 0.2, 0.15% trades with the account. But you then had to do more trades, obviously. So it trains you and teaches you to be consistent. And consistency is what wins in the end. Like I said, it's really, I think it's a really good thing for beginners, people who are new, to do it, because it trains consistency, and then you're able to then use that with and the payouts that you'll probably get if you are consistent, to then YOLO on the other prop firms as well. Things like then Blue Guardian and stuff, because they all have unlimited time now. So Blue Guardian, my Forex funds, the Funded Engineer, TFT, FTMO, they all have unlimited now because it's standard. It's the new standard. So because you don't have now with the unlimited time challenge, you don't have a super thing. So if you feel like this week has been arse, which it has for me, then you can just completely de-risk and then go to like, you have a 100K account, but I'm only going to take 0.1%. So it's $100. And then build yourself back up again. Wilson, I am actually thinking of that, yes. I am thinking of cells. In this time zone over here, I'm looking at cells. Yeah, the stocks have been taken, but it hasn't like blown through. That's what's interesting. There we go. The G, the candles are ripping. Again, we are distance away from the Hong Kong gap. It has been news which has driven this market. We're setting up a very square pattern over here. And we have a void underneath. But there are these equal highs as well on the buy side. So it's interesting. I'm actually going to pull up my 5-tick and see what's happening. Yeah, this is a liquidity leg. This is an algorithmic leg right here. It's driving for a higher price. Which is these lows. I really actually listening the other nights. Cheers, Derek. Thank you so much. I try and be as real as possible and try and be as honest as possible, because this industry is rough. Even if you have a winning strategy and you know what you're looking for, your mentality as a trader, it can throw you off, and it's very, very difficult to deal with, because you're having to deal with your emotions and then the compounded emotions of whatever stresses you put on yourself. So I'm busy going to get into active mode now because we're in our trade time. Let's get ready. Yeah, so we have our compounded emotions and stuff that we put on ourselves, and the pressures. And this is actually what I've realized streaming to you guys, is that it's quite rough. But yeah, even if you have a winning strategy, you can still lose. You can still lose, and it's a rough world. You might be off by a pip. Like yesterday, I took a sell and I was off by like 2 pips, and I was just like, oh, that hurt me so bad. uh, yeah, we're in the time now. There's a void in GU. Yeah, whatever price is now, and the opening price there's a void in price. We haven't had a break of structure yet. So it's AU. There's the structure. It was broken, pushing down to the sell side. That is broken. EU. get that working on view. I'd want this. Pips and lots. I love your energy, man. You're great. How is gold going up and AU is going down? Funny. PvP. Follow through. What do you mean by follow through? You mean vicious candles that want to continue going lower? Like that? Is that what you mean by follow through? A whole bunch of lows down here. You see? Lows over here. Sell side. Okay. Yeah, this is going down. That looks like follow through. Kind of, I think. Let's go look at the 5 minutes. Snap the highs. Even gold looks like shifting. With the DXY open. We haven't filled this completely. You got that hard to get to, bruh. Let's go. Yeah, I was waiting with this open to come and fill that little void. It just didn't want to give it to me. So now I can remove this down to a little bit less risk in the trade. You see this price over here is the one I was referring to. All of this sneakiness, all of those lows over there, it's like perfect down here. I don't want that to be seen too. It does actually look promising there, Tony. It really does. So my highs are just above the fair value gap at 9847. There's a little fair value. Actually, I should put it over here. Just in case I want to snap and go whack whack. I don't think so though. You can see here in price, we have an open, a close up here, and then an open down here. That's like a void in price that snapped up quickly and then continued going higher. GU is coming for these lows, of course. Big gap in price down here that it needs to fill. AU. As it does this, bang bang, puts you on both sides of that leg. It takes the buy side to go for the sell side. And because it's going for the sell side, the correlation is everything else is up here. And so we go. And so now if you're reading price as it's going down, it's still on GU. There's a void. We have a void. We have a fair value gap. If you see it break 1, 2, 3, highly likely that it's not going to continue. That's not going to continue down. That's going to continue going higher. And then, yeah, just gonna let the trade carry on riding down. And if not, it's not. If it does, it does. Okay. That's me. Timed out for the day. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Yes, Derek, you won't get the same thing on TradingView. TradingView doesn't present these voids and stuff in price. So I'll show you right here. This is the last thing before I go. See the closing here is 755. If you look on the right side over here, okay, we have the closing there. All of this price action underneath here. Okay, that over there underneath 754. Okay, down to 708. Okay, there's it came in a little bit over here, but what you'll see is when I present TradingView at the same time, okay, from 7.5 on the right, 7.55 is over here. So over there is a little bit, but it doesn't show the rest of the sell side over here down to 708. That's why this mysterious void, it's so mysterious. All right. So the charts, these don't present any voids or lapping gaps and stuff like that on TradingView, but they do on your broker. So it's important to have your broker up. And if you don't have access to a broker, you can just create like a free C-Trader account or whatever you want, free demo with the broker, and you'll be able to find where the liquidity is. Yeah, no worries at all. No worries at all. Okay, everyone. So that's me done. Let's see what DXY has done. Left it open. Go highs up here. We've set it. Going to continue. Beautiful. It is. The reason why I recommend C-Trader is because you can get access to lower time frames. So you can decide whether it's a 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 tick. By tick, it means second. So it's the second chart. So it's like the 5-second chart, and you're able to see a whole bunch of stuff on there that you weren't even aware of previously. Okay. So you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves. Keep safe out there. And I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.